Okay, hey guys, welcome. So I just purchased Reign of the Warlock, and I just wanted to do an in-depth series. I've noticed no one on YouTube so far has done more of like an in-depth series, showcasing, all the new skill trees, all the new features, most importantly, how to convert your old characters over to the Reign of the Warlock expansion, and how to bring all of your items from your old stash with you as well, because that's not something that automatically happens. Okay, so let's get to it. So, as you can see, I've got a list of characters here. These are all pre-Reign of the Warlock, and you can see they have a little X next to the name that says expansion. So this is a character I've already converted to Reign of the Warlock, and you can see it's no longer got that little X. Okay, so what you want to do, we'll start with transferring over your old items, is you want to go create new character. I like to do barbarians for mules. We'll call him Trash Mule. Create. Oh, nope, sorry, I already screwed up. So let's let's delete that. There's a key feature there. Let's just get rid of this guy real quick. Okay, so this is really important actually, guys. So when you go to create new character, right, you select your guy, you name him, but you want to be careful in this little drop down that it automatically defaults to Reign of the Warlock. You actually want to go expansion and go create. So see, he's got the little X over him. You know he's part of the old, Diablo 2 Resurrected. So I don't know why I'm getting tongue-tied. Okay, guys. So the other thing you have to know is you can only carry over one Annie and one torch per character. As you know, your character can only hold one of each, so it is quite a process if you have multiple Annies or torches that you're trying to move over from the old game. Here's my last shared page, so we'll just get all these gems over as well. Okay, so that's another Anilius there. So what we'll do, I think, is we'll go over to the Anilius page. Okay, go back here, grab the Annie again. Alright, so we'll just quickly move over all that stuff. So what I'm doing right now, guys, is I'm just moving over remnants from my old Lord of Destruction Resurrected over to the new Reign of the Warlock expansion. So I've pulled, you've got your pages here. I've pulled it from the shared stash. You want to go through slowly, make sure you haven't missed anything. Then you want to move them all over to your stash here. Okay. You want to go save and exit. Now when you're back on this window here, noting that this is an expansion character, you want to go to this button right here. It says convert to Reign of the Warlock. So you're going to hit that. It gives you a little disclaimer. It says warning, once you convert a character to Reign of the Warlock, you cannot play it with the expansion Diablo 2 games. Are you sure you wish to continue? So just hit yes on that, guys. Now you'll notice again the X is gone, so you know he's been updated. You go play. Okay, and so now what you'll notice is how different this looks. You've got your shared stash, and instead of 3 pages, you now have 5, including the 2 new pages that they give you with the expansion. Honestly, guys, this isn't going to be, if you're a real Diablo fanboy like me, you're not necessarily going to like these series, because I'm going to be quite brutally honest, which is something I feel like Mr. Lema and a lot of these other Diablo 2 Resurrected content creators, sometimes they kind of like to put a little polish on things. I'm not saying they lie to their audience, but they like to put a little polish on things, maybe make things seem better than they really are. Not me. I've been playing this game off and on for, well, since day one, so it's been, what, 20, 25 years now. And I can honestly tell you, I've seen it all, I've done it all when it comes to Diablo 2, and including making my own mods and everything in between. And I'm just going to give a very brutally honest take on this expansion. There's some things I really like, quality of life, and there's some things that feel really cheap, like giving 2 new stash tabs. It's not great, gotta be honest. For a $35 game I bought in Canada, for a $35 game after tax, 2 new stash tabs for somebody that, is a total hoarder like me. I mean, that's the whole point of this game, is collecting loot. It's just not enough, and I get the feeling they're going to push microtransactions down the road, make you purchase more tabs at extra cost. Obviously, people will do that. I just personally find it a scummy practice in games, and I'd like to discourage developers from doing that. Um, Besides the new character and some quality of life changes, there really isn't a lot of new things in the game. There's no new act. As far as I can tell, there's no new monsters. Um, a very limited number of new items and rune words. So all the things that would make an expansion a true expansion and an exciting expansion, I'll be honest with you guys, they're just missing from here. So I actually went ahead and bought Reign of the Warlock, not to have a great time playing it. I kind of feel ripped off already, if I'm being honest. But to really do a genuine and thorough and honest expose on it and let you guys know whether or not it's worth picking up for your $35, or if you're in the States, $25 US. So, okay, and the other thing too is, again, in my honest opinion, I haven't even played the character yet. I haven't played the new Warlock. I've just been watching other content creators playing it, but it feels really cheap as far as there's not a lot of new ideas. Like, yeah, I understand he can hold, a two-handed weapon in one hand with his passive skill, and he's got books now, which is an idea that they borrowed, I think, from Diablo 3. You can have these books like the wizard did, but that's really it. There's not really a lot of new ideas there. Even as far as the skills go, they really feel like a cheap rehash of existing skills. You can summon monsters. That was a totally missed opportunity to create and introduce some new sprites into the game, some new characters. Instead, they just basically rehash the revive skill, and you can only revive existing monsters from the game, which, there's a limited number of monsters. It's not that exciting for a game that's this old, and they continue to ask for all this money from their player base. I would think they need to expand the creativity a little bit and really I mean, come on, guys, it's dark fantasy. There's so many different monsters that we can bring in, even as far as subsets. Different types of demons, different types of ghosts and poltergeists, different types of animal monsters, etc. Even, one thing I'd love to see more of is like human monsters. Like, why do we not have corrupted barbarians the way we have corrupted rogues and things like that running around? Certainly would make for a much more exciting gameplay, as well as you could introduce ideas like, for example, if you slay one of these corrupted barbarians, well, maybe he drops some loot because they also carry loot, and the loot they drop is what they were wearing. And as you proceed, to more higher difficulty levels and terrorized zones, that loot gets progressively better, but so does the challenge in taking down these almost PvP type monsters. Mind you, they won't be player controlled, but they'll have access to all the same skills, and maybe they'll be trained on AI, watching some of the best PvPers in Diablo, for a real added challenge. Anyway, that's just going on a tangent of ways to improve this game that I love so much. I really do. When you've been playing something as long as I've been playing this game, you either love it or you're autistic and obsessive. Maybe a little bit of both. Okay, so here's some of the new tabs. So you've got the gem tab, very cool quality of life. That's definitely a Blizzard W. And that's a rare thing to say these days. I feel like Blizzard was a once great titan that has really, not saying, they're a shadow of their former selves, but in a lot of ways, they're a shadow of their former selves. They used to be so innovative and creative, and nowadays they're just pumping out the slop, if I'm being honest. They're playing it way too safe. They're really heavily focusing on subscriptions and monetization, and while all of that is important and good for the shareholders and for the company, and even to some extent the player base, you want your company to do well and thrive and continue to produce games, not at the expense of creativity and willing to push the boundaries. I think a good example of that is Diablo 4, right? Once you play the main campaign, there's really nothing much left to the game. It does not have the same replay value as, say, a Diablo 2 or a Diablo 2 Resurrected. Okay, anyway, that's enough of the tangents for now. So this huge W, quality of life, every gem type you can just hoard gems. For someone like me, I used to regularly give them away or trade them for not very much. Now I can actually hoard gems and use them for crafting to my heart's content. They have a materials page. You can see some new statue materials here that I'm yet to find. Some new types of shards and things. You've got the organ set here. You've got keys. I already took the liberty and transferred some of my old items over. You've got your tokens of absolution, you've got your different dusts, and one feature I actually really enjoy here is you've got somewhere for rejuve pots. Okay, this is very important when you're doing things like Ubers or the new Uber Ancient, Colossal Ancients, or whatever they're calling them, challenge. You know, you're going to want your rejuve pots. Okay, then you've got your rune stash tabs, similar idea. You can collect all the runes you want to your heart's content. So we're going to show you how that works right now. So we'll just move some gems here and some runes from my inventory. We'll go to gems, and then I'm just holding down control and left clicking and it automatically, as you can tell, sorts them to the right bin. Now one thing I'm curious about is when I click one, yeah, so it goes one at a time. Okay, so that's a good system. In some mods, they'll have like a special item you have to cube with the gems to take one out, etc. I find this is actually a lot more organized and clean. So again, you know, Blizzard W, well done, guys. Really thinking on your feet and introducing some nice quality of life. Okay, so now that we've gotten all that out of the way, we're just going to continue here with the various charms and things. Okay, just get all that. And the reason we're doing this is because we'd like to move over as many, well, we'd like to move over all of our shared items from our old Diablo LOD, you know, the destruction version. Sorry, guys, I don't know why I'm mincing my words here. The Resurrected version is what I'm trying to say. I'm just very hyper-focused on the game, and I'm kind of mincing words. Okay, so we've moved over Annie's, we've moved over our torches. We're just going to go to a different stash tab here, continue to move over our items. Okay, like I told you guys, I'm a real hoarder, I'm a real pack rat. I like to keep everything. I find, especially with things like charms, you never know what kind of builds different things are going to come in handy for, so I really like to keep everything. Okay, once you've made sure that there's nothing left in your inventory or in your personal stash tab, you can now save and exit. That's my character there, and I'm going to delete him. Okay, so we're just going to delete him. And this process is unfortunately time consuming, but like I said, if you have multiple torches or Annies, you can only do one per character. Once you convert the character, you can't go backwards, so you must delete that character and make a new character. So we'll call him same thing, Trash, maybe we'll say Trash Mule 2. Trash Mule 2. And again, make sure you select expansion, not Reign of Warlock, hit create, go play. So we're just concerned with these Annies here. So as you can see, I can only take one. So that I took one, so I still have, what is that, 9, 10, 11. I still have this to do this 11 more times. Is it tedious? Yes. Would there have been a better way for them to do it? Not really, because again, there is the limit of one Annie, one torch per character, you know, one Geeds. So unless they were to make it like Sender Charms, where you can just carry as many as you want on your person, you still have to go one by one. So slowly I'm building up my stack here, so just gonna do a quick check, make sure we're not missing anything. Save and exit. And again, we're gonna delete. Okay, so I think we're going to end the video there for now. That's probably long enough for one video. You guys don't need to see me transfer over every single Anilius charm that I have. We're going to end the video there, and then in the next video I want to get a little bit into the weeds about you know, all the new features, as well as starting to showcase possibly the new Warlock, or maybe we'll leave that for video 3.